Welcome to the Village of Brooklyn Heights Master Plan Virtual Public Presentation. The Village of Brooklyn Heights is partnering with the Cuyahoga County Planning Commission to complete a master plan for the community. The process started in September 2019 and aims to provide a vision for how the community can grow and develop in the coming decade. The Village of Brooklyn Heights Master Plan is a collection of community aspirations that aim to inspire and guide village officials and residents as the community moves into the future. The village is just beginning the process, and this presentation is the first of 3 public presentations asking for your input. The Cuyahoga County Planning Commission is an independent public agency that provides professional planning services like the master plan for the Village of Brooklyn Heights to cities, villages, and townships of Cuyahoga County. Through our regional partnerships, county planning has a diverse portfolio of projects that include master plans, transportation policies, and environmental resource studies. An example of our projects include the County Greenprint, County Greenways, the Economic Development Plan, and the Housing Study. In addition to regional plans, county planning also assembles, updates, and disseminates a wide variety of useful resources to encourage best practices in the areas of land use, transportation, place-based economic development, environmental planning, and sustainability. The Databook series and the Guidebook series are just a couple of planning resources currently available. Since 2014, county planning has completed 15 master plans, with 10 plans currently underway, which includes the Village of Brooklyn Heights. During this presentation, we're going to go over the steps of the planning process, present a current conditions overview for the Village of Brooklyn Heights, discuss the Brooklyn Heights framework maps, present the community vision objectives, discuss the ways we would like your help in gathering feedback, and talk about the next steps in the Village of Brooklyn Heights master plan process. So what is a master plan? A master plan is a long-term plan for how the community wants to grow and develop in the future. It inventories what exists today and outlines the community's vision for the future and describes the concrete action steps to achieve that vision. Why plan? Planning provides the opportunity for community input while preparing the village, residents, and businesses for the future. A master plan shapes future development to match your priorities and gives a competitive advantage to the village when applying for grants and funding. This is the community's plan, and it should reflect your vision and ideals for the future. The master plan belongs to the Village of Brooklyn Heights community, and your input is needed in its development. How will the plan be implemented? Responsible parties are assigned to each action. Actions are then aligned with funding streams and are specified in grant applications. The plan is updated as circumstances and priorities change. What does the master plan cover? It covers transportation, land use and zoning, housing, parks and the environment, economic development, and industrial and business parks. When using the master plan, you first want to adopt it to make it an official policy. Next, you want to use the master plan as a reference tool when considering actions and applying for grant funding. And last, you want to update the plan over time and when circumstances change. The master plan is not a static document, but one that is flexible and meant to be updated as the village continues to thrive and grow. The groups involved in the master plan process includes the various members of the community, such as the village staff. They share expertise and on-the-ground knowledge along with becoming the project team of the master plan. Next, there are regional and local stakeholders. They are business leaders, residents, and other key community members that will be interviewed to provide input. Then there's us, county planning. We act as facilitators of the planning process. and translates the concerns and suggestions into master plan documents. And then there's you, the public. You provide comment on the plan and ensures that the plan has the endorsement of village residents. The Brooklyn Heights Master Plan will utilize a 5-step process that will answer a series of broader questions that guide the direction of the community in the future. The first step of the Brooklyn Heights Master Plan is current conditions. During the current conditions phase, the question of where are we now is addressed. To answer that, we conduct a current conditions analysis that provides a demographic, land use, and housing overview of the village. Second is community vision. Here the question to be answered is, where do we want to be? In the community vision phase, the vision for how the community wants to grow and develop in the coming decade is drafted. Next, in the recommendations phase, we look at the community's vision that was drafted and ask, how do we get there? Well, we get there by further defining the values and ideals from the community vision and turn them into the goals and the concrete action steps that will achieve the community's desired future. In the implementation phase, we assemble a list of partners, priorities, and responsibilities to be used for undertaking the goals and actions from the recommendation step. This list provides the village the opportunity to track and prioritize those actions while asking the questions, are we getting there? And are we achieving the community's vision over the life of the master plan? Drafting the master plan is the final step in the 5-step planning process. This phase takes the draft documents from the current conditions, community vision, recommendations, and implementation phases and combines them into a complete master plan document that the community can use in the next 5 to 10 years. In the current conditions overview, we're going to highlight a few areas from the Brooklyn Heights current conditions document. The Village of Brooklyn Heights, accessible via Interstate 77, 480, and Ohio Route 176, is centrally located between the eastern and western suburbs of Cuyahoga County, and it shares its borders with the cities of Cleveland to the north, Parma to the west, and Seven Hills and Independence to the south, with the Cuyahoga River forming a portion of the northeastern border. Throughout the Brooklyn Heights Master Plan, comparisons are made between Brooklyn Heights, several peer communities, and Cuyahoga County as a whole. Those peer communities are Cuyahoga Heights, Valley View, and Walton Hills. They were chosen due to their location, size, and similar land use characteristics and transportation infrastructure. Current conditions is the first phase of the master plan, and it involves gathering data, input, and information about the state of Brooklyn Heights today. The current conditions document outlines what has been gathered so far and is presented in 4 profiles. The data is categorized into the following: community, transportation and infrastructure, land use, and community services profiles. For this presentation, we will only highlight a few key findings from each of the 3 profiles. To view the full current conditions document, please visit the County Planning website. Looking at the total population between the years of 1950 and 1980, the Village of Brooklyn Heights had significant population growth. In 1980, the number of residents peaked to 1,653. There was a population decline of 12% between 1980 and 1990. But by the year 2000, the population had rebounded to 1,558 residents and has remained relatively stable since that time, with only slight population decreases. According to the United States Census Bureau's 2018 ACS, the population in Brooklyn Heights is 1,512. As seen in this population by age pyramid graph, the village has a larger population of seniors and children, with a small population of young adults and working age adults, possibly representing multi-generational households. In Brooklyn Heights, roads are classified as either functional class 4, a minor arterial, or functional class 5, a major collector. Minor arterials provide service for trips of moderate length, and they serve smaller geographic areas and offer connectivity to higher classified roads. A major collector is one where the roadway system gathers traffic from higher ranked roads and funnel them into the arterial network. In Brooklyn Heights, Granger Road is classified as a minor arterial, while Van Epps, Spring, East, and West Shaft Roads and a portion of Tuxedo Avenue, where it intersects with Granger Road, are classified as major collectors. When looking at the percentage of households by the number of vehicles owned, nearly 99% of all the households in Brooklyn Heights owns a vehicle. That was higher than the peer communities, which were approximately 94% of households, and Cuyahoga County, which was approximately 87% of households. Only 1% of households in the village did not have access to a vehicle. The village has exceptionally good sidewalk coverage in its residential areas, but limited coverage in the industrial and business park areas. Brooklyn Heights does not have direct RTA bus lines within the village itself. Residents would have to enter Parma or Cleveland to access the nearest bus line. As more people desire to live healthier lifestyles and travel in ways that are safer, environmentally friendly, and sustainable, more cities are investing in infrastructure that supports multimodal travel options like bikeways. Bikeways can take the form of on-road lanes, shared road markings, or off-road all-purpose trails and paths. Currently, there are several all-purpose trails in the vicinity of Brooklyn Heights, including the West Creek Greenway, which is already completed and goes through Brooklyn Heights Village Park for approximately half a mile, and includes a pedestrian bridge over the West Creek. The entire West Creek Greenway is identified as a regional future route through Brooklyn Heights. The West Creek and the Cuyahoga River, shown as aqua blue on the map, form a physical boundary that protects natural habitats throughout the village. The deep red color shows that steep slopes throughout Brooklyn Heights pose environmental constraints that limit development in certain areas. The three largest land uses in the village are industrial, which comprises approximately 28% of the village acreage, residential, with about 20%, and vacant land, also at 20%. And together, these three land uses comprise nearly 69% of the total acreage in Brooklyn Heights. Most of the open spaces in the village are privately owned. In the northeast corner of the village, the Cleveland Metro Parks owns 5.35 acres of park-like land adjacent to the river valley. The surrounding open space is privately owned by the various businesses that front onto Van Epps Road in the industrial corridor. Village residents have access to the West Creek and the West Creek Greenway. Vacant parcels can represent where residences and businesses have been demolished or places that were never built. Vacant parcels in Brooklyn Heights are village-owned. A landfill is a place to dispose of refuse or other wasted material by burying it. Landfills are deemed closed when they meet capacity. Once they are closed, they are no longer allowed to accept trash and must be monitored for 30 years. There is a cluster of parcels and probable vacant parcels north of East Shaft, and they have been identified as landfills. One of the largest landfills is a closed, village-owned landfill located near the northeast border of Brooklyn Heights between the Cuyahoga River Valley and the railroad tracks. Framework maps are a tool used to outline a framework for future location-based actions. For the Brooklyn Heights Master Plan, we are utilizing 4 framework maps. the Focus Areas Framework, the Connections Framework, the Open Space Framework, and the Character Area Framework. Focus areas are locations within the community where special attention will be placed during the master planning process. These are 4 areas within the village that have been identified as focus areas, and they include downtown Brooklyn Heights, the Spring Van Epps Corridor, the Brooklyn Heights River Corridor, and the Eastern Gateway. The downtown Brooklyn Heights focus area is centered around Tuxedo Avenue and Granger Road and includes the Village, Municipal Center, the Community Center, the Service Department, and businesses like South Hills Hardware just outside village limits to the west. Goals of this focus area include signage and wayfinding, public transportation, commercial and retail uses, parks and open spaces, and development opportunities in the village along Tuxedo Avenue and Shaft Road. The downtown Brooklyn Heights focus area, as seen from the aerial, is situated north of I-480 and includes West Shaft Road, Old Brook Park Road, and Tuxedo Avenue. Here is the downtown Brooklyn Heights focus area street view, looking south towards Granger Road and southeast down Old Brook Park Road from the Tuxedo Avenue and West Shaft Road intersection. The Spring Van Epps Corridor focus area encompasses the industrial areas north of Van Epps to the northwestern border of the village. Goals of this focus area would include public transportation to businesses in the corridor, pedestrian and bicycle connections, and economic development. The Spring Van Epps corridor, as seen from the aerial, includes Spring Road, Hayes Drive, and the northeastern border of the village adjacent to the Cuyahoga River. The top left street view is of the Spring Van Epps corridor looking north along Van Epps Road from the Shaft Lane underpass. The bottom right street view is looking north from the Van Epps Road Spring Road Fork. The Brooklyn Heights River Corridor focus area includes the village-owned landfill and surrounding areas north of the railroad tracks near Valley Belt Road north to the northeastern village border. Goals of this focus area would include accessibility for residents, sustainable end uses for the landfill, and preservation of the Cuyahoga River Valley area. In this aerial of the Brooklyn Heights River Corridor focus area, you see that the focus area would include the towpath trail and possible connections to the businesses along Valley Belt Road. The Eastern Gateway focus area includes the landfill near the southeastern border north of I-480 and the Resource Drive, Keynote Circle, and Lancaster Drive business areas. Goals of this focus area would include sustainable end uses for the landfill and trail connections. This aerial shows the Eastern Gateway focus area bordered by Lancaster Drive to the west, the City of Independence to the east as indicated by the red dashed line, I-480 to the south, and East Shaft and Granger Roads to the north. The top left picture shows a street view of the landfill in the proposed Eastern Gateway focus area. The bottom picture is an aerial of that landfill. The Connections Framework map shows the possible connections that link the residential areas to one another and to other village neighborhoods such as downtown Brooklyn Heights Park, and into neighboring commercial districts. Open spaces not only provide a place for physical activities and social gatherings, but they can be used to enhance and protect natural resources such as air, water, soil, plants, and animals. Open spaces can also affect economic development decisions like development patterns, employment, and real estate values. The Open Spaces Framework map shows existing park areas, ways of assessing parks, and adding to park amenities to create a network of open spaces and the possibility of connecting neighborhoods and people throughout the entire village. By grouping the village into different character areas, we are able to define the uses and types of development desired as Brooklyn Heights redevelops over the next 10 to 20 years. The character area map considers the current zoning, the specific issues identified by village leaders, the potential opportunities for future development, and zoning best practices to create a unified vision for the general development patterns throughout Brooklyn Heights. We identified 5 distinct character area districts in Brooklyn Heights. Those districts are the Business District, the Village Center, the Greenhouse District, the Residential Districts, and the River Valley District. The community vision objectives are broad ideas for how the community wants to grow in the next 5 to 10 years, and they are the community's desired future put into words. The vision and objectives represent initial draft ideas for discussion, changes, and additions. The community vision objectives for the Brooklyn Heights Master Plan are based on the inputs obtained from the current conditions analysis document, project team feedback, the planning grant application, and the 2003 Brooklyn Heights Master Plan. There were 5 major goals and 3 strategic focus areas identified in the 2003 Master Plan. These overarching goals guided the needs of the village and the plan's direction over the last 2 decades. Those goals were identified as economic development, housing, environmentally sensitive areas, infrastructure, and quality of life. To help further define the 5 village-wide goals, 3 strategic focus areas were identified, and those included the Granger Road corridor, north of Shaft Road, and east of Van Epps Road. In addition to reviewing previous planning-related documents, such as the 2003 Master Plan and the 2019 Planning Grant Application, we analyzed data from the current conditions analysis and from project team feedback, and we used those to formulate a series of community objectives. Also, to get a sense of your community and what your community's vision could be for the next 10 years, we took a look at the village's website to gather clues as to what values are important to residents and what qualities the village embodies for its residents and visitors. We used a word cloud application to analyze your Welcome to Brooklyn Heights page, and we found the words community, welcome, family, and historic stood out the most. We used these elements to draft your community vision and objectives. A vision statement is a long-term aspirational goal with guiding principles or objectives that outline how to achieve that vision. The community vision objectives for the Village of Brooklyn Heights Master Plan are based on the inputs obtained from the current conditions document, project team feedback, the 2003 Brooklyn Heights Master Plan, the word cloud, and village slogan. The following is the proposed vision statement and objectives for the Village of Brooklyn Heights 2021 Master Plan. The Village of Brooklyn Heights is a small village, but a big community that will employ the following guiding objectives. Redevelopment. Attract and retain strong businesses through a welcoming community. Connectivity. Develop an interconnected network to neighborhoods and districts while promoting and providing healthy alternatives for residents. Environment. Preserve environmentally sensitive areas. Regionalism. Enhance regional collaborations and partnerships. Housing. Maintain high residential standards that accommodate a broad and diverse range of lifestyles and stages of life. The following are examples of action steps the community could utilize to move the community vision and objectives forward. Action steps for the redevelopment objective to attract and retain strong businesses through a welcoming community could be the zoning for existing businesses to stay in Brooklyn Heights, creating attractive business corridors, and limiting expansion of active landfills and exploring redevelopment opportunities for closed landfills. Action steps for the connectivity objective could be to establish paths to parks and other neighborhoods, utilize the connections framework as a tool for where links could be established, and strengthen the connection to the towpath and the Cuyahoga River as ways to develop an interconnected network to neighborhoods and districts, while promoting and providing healthy alternatives for residents. Action steps for the environmental objective include preservation of the West Creek River Valley and surrounding open spaces, building adequate infrastructure systems that meet future needs, converting landfills to more sustainable end uses, planting trees to increase the tree canopy, and expanding recreational opportunities with green spaces. Regional actions to enhance regional collaborations and partnerships could include continued collaboration with the West Creek Conservancy, Northeast Ohio Regional Sewer District, and the Cleveland Metro Parks. Housing actions to maintain high residential standards that accommodate a broad and diverse range of lifestyles and stages of life could be to expand on new construction efforts for housing options that serve specific segments of residents, maintain the existing housing stock, offer housing options for older residents, and marketing housing as first or starter homes. We need your feedback on the community vision concepts presented. We want to know what you think of the proposed community vision statement and objectives. What do you like? What don't you like? Is there something we missed? We have developed a survey and mapping activity to allow you to provide us answers to these questions and other thoughts or ideas you might have. And you will have 2 opportunities to do so. The first opportunity is the Community Vision Survey. Please go to the SurveyMonkey link provided. There is a short guided survey asking for your feedback on the proposed Community Vision Statement and objectives. The survey will be open from January 4th through February 7th, 2021. The survey will be limited to 1 response per IP address. An alternative paper or PDF version of the survey will be available on request for those who prefer or for those who are unable to take the online survey. Please contact the village for a paper copy of the survey. Completed surveys can be returned to the Village Hall and at the address shown. The second opportunity to provide us with feedback is the Brooklyn Heights Favorite Places Mapping activity. This will provide us with feedback about places within the village that you enjoy visiting. This information will be utilized to further develop the community vision statement and objectives, and the subsequent recommended goals and actions. This is what the Brooklyn Heights Favorite Places Mapping activity webpage looks like. You will be able to submit as many points or comments as you like from your home computer or on your mobile phone. Or you can agree with previous comments by clicking on the heart icon. The comments are grouped into 2 categories: green for your most favorite places, or places you love to go, and red for your least favorite places, or places that could be improved. Our next steps are to utilize the feedback gathered at this meeting and further develop the community vision. We will then brainstorm and draft the goals and actions that drive the community vision objectives and formulate recommendations with the project team. The next public meeting presentation, we will present those proposed goals and actions. The tentative timeline for the next public meeting is late March, early April of 2021, where we would present the recommended goals and actions and offer you the opportunity to provide input. The third public presentation would be in mid to late June of 2021, where we would gather input on implementation priorities. Please follow the developments of the Brooklyn Heights Master Plan at countyplanning.us/Brooklyn Heights. This page on the County Planning website is dedicated to the Brooklyn Heights Master Plan and will be updated with draft documents, presentations, and public meeting presentation announcements. Thank you for your time. If you have any questions about the Village of Brooklyn Heights Master Plan, please call or write us an email.